Formula One leaves Japan with a new world champion and heads stateside. It's the United States Grand Prix in Austin, Texas, Circuit of the Americas. So just 4 races remain, the United States and Mexico forming a back-to-back before we break up again with Sao Paulo and Abu Dhabi. Red Bull have completely dominated the second half of the standings as well, winning all races since the summer break. Will they have much luck in the last 4 races as they go for the Constructors Championship? In the Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen has already been crowned the world champion with the victory quite very much again controversy in the Japanese Grand Prix, meaning that he goes up by just 1 point. He claimed it last time out. The battle is on though for second place between Sergio Perez and Charles Leclerc, just 1 point between them. George Russell and Carlos Sainz also in a personal battle. Hamilton pretty much adrift on his own, with Lando Norris also safe in 7th. The battle for 8th though between Ocon, Alonso, Bottas is heating up, and Vettel now overtakes Ricciardo in 11th. On the second half of the table, it's Danny Ricciardo in 12th. Gasly is in 13th as well, just slightly behind. He's in a battle with Magnussen too. And then Stroll, Schumacher and Tsunoda in a battle over 15th. Zhou Guanyu also just about holding on to 18th. And then Albon and Latifi are also once again doing battle as teammates now, with Latifi scoring points for the first time this season. Nick de Vries goes down to 21st, and Nico Hulkenberg, as only reserve driver this year, still on no points. Red Bull then stand the first chance to win a Constructors Championship for the first time since 2013. But with the cost cap drama looming, who knows what that could change in the future. Ferrari are in a battle now once again with Mercedes. Alpine and McLaren swapping places for the 5th race running. Alfa Romeo and Aston Martin now joined by Haas and AlphaTauri in their battle. Haas and AlphaTauri level on points. Williams on 8 points, still largely adrift. It's the 2022 United States Grand Prix, and this is your Grand Prix preview. Let's take a look around the Circuit of the Americas here in Austin, Texas. 3.425 miles, 20 corners, 2 DRS zones, and the longest run straight on the Formula One calendar. It is a joy of a circuit. Exit the last corner then and boot it hard as you come under acceleration and under power as well. Continue on uphill towards turn number 1. 8th gear flat out before a heavy braking zone as well. Drop down, 3rd gear, tight inside line apex on the left hand side. Drop downhill now into the Mickey Mouse section of the track as well. The car meanders left then right again like Maggotts and Beckett at Silverstone. Requires a little bit of lifts as well to make sure everything stays the same on the circuit, and continues to push hard as they continue uphill into turns 7 and 8 as well. Keep hard on the power, and now through the tricky bump zone of the track at turn 10. MotoGP riders complain about it, Formula One do too, before you into the hairpin then. Like turn 1, all the way down at turn 11, 2nd gear. Rise up the hill now once again down the longest straight in Formula One. DRS is at a maximum. The ERS is screaming its deployment energy as you hurtle down into the best overtaking spot on the track in towards turn 12. Brake at the 100-meter board, flick the car into the left, and then you're back on the power. 2 rights then as well do make a correct right turn into 15 and 16. Then 3 lefts back to back. You don't notice the first 2. It's the last one you need to notice coming into turn 16. 17 and 18 then, a long sweeping right-hander akin to what we see in Turkey of Formula One as well. 19 and 22 left-handers then, easy to flick the car off the track and run out lap time like you do there. That's allowed this year by the stewards, but no cutting elsewhere. Last corner, full throttle once again with the DRS open, and that is a lap of Austin, Texas. Hello everybody, and welcome then to the 2022 United States Grand Prix. And we're all set then for what is going to be happening as well with this practice session coming up tomorrow. But first up, it's time for the drivers' press conference. I've got a little bit in my ear there from Ed Hunter as somebody closes mumble behind me as well. There we go. Hello everybody, welcome then. All sorts of drama kicked off when we last spoke to you for Formula One. We were in the midst of confusion. We didn't know who was world champion, but we can now tell you undoubtedly that Max Verstappen is the 2022 Formula One world champion. And then on Monday, the cost cap saga once again opened up. Red Bull have been found guilty of a breach of the rules and regulations. Ergo, we have got absolutely zero idea what is happening, zero idea who is happening, and I'll tell you what, as well, we don't even know ourselves what we're about to see in the press conference. Certainly, we're going to see a new result for a world champion being crowned, and hopefully if I press this button, you'll see that Josh is joining me in the commentary box ever so shortly as well. Josh, welcome back. Wasn't with us in Japan, back with us now. First of all, I want to know one thing. How are you doing?
You're muted.
Now I'll say hello. Hello, Josh. How are you doing?
Caught me snacking.
Sorry. You've gone very low on my end. I hope that's not me.
What, like volume-wise?
Volume? You've gone low. Usually that's not the case. Usually it's the other way around.
Oh my goodness, am I feeling okay?
Yeah, it's usually it's the other way around, isn't it? That way it's a problem with that, but usually it's loud. Go on.
Printer's playing up, so I haven't been able to. That's why it's at 54. Hello, I'm suddenly getting very louder. There
we go. Hello, Josh. How are you doing?
Hello. Good, you?
Not too bad. Migraine the past couple of days as well.
What's this?
This is a new location. Where are you? Is that your conservatory? What a great setup
Yes,
you've got in there
it is
now.
my conservatory.
I love that. That's a great little setup. Is it warm in there? I really hope it's warm.
Yes, I am actually sweating, so I've had to open the windows. But I've got a radiator down there.
Oh, is that your new commentary box, or is that just for today then?
Just for today, and then tomorrow I'll be back because upstairs there's some stuff going on. But there's my sound mixer and mouse on one chair. There's a keyboard on a stool, and there's the computer.
Don't blame me one bit as well. I've just heard David Croft in my ears as well is hosting the press conference today. So I think he stole our idea as well. But we are about to get started with the press conference. Oh, nice. I've got my mug's around here somewhere. Yeah, my mug's around here somewhere with that on, but I'll have to find the one that my friend made me. Say again?
The dog's trying to get out.
So, we're almost all set then for what we're going to see. We've got the running order of what's going to happen. So, in the first half of the press conference, we've got Valtteri Bottas, Lance Stroll, Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris and Sergio Perez all in the first half. But I think, Josh, we need to sort of talk first of all, Max Verstappen, world champion in Japan. What's your thoughts on it as well? It was a crazy, confusing way once again to crown a world champion.
It really, really was. And Max Verstappen won twice. Controversial ways, back-to-back years. Both involving the FIA and both involving, well, a different way. It was very
different,
strange, let's say, for the first championship and for the second championship. With did he have enough points, and the FIA awarding full points.
Yeah, it's very strange as well. Me and Megan worked up in the commentary box that even if it was 19, he could have still been the world champion. Then we and Megan said if it's full points, he's champion. It was full points. So as Will Wood, who is assistant editor at Race Fans, said as well just after, well done to me and Megan. Thanks for the praise, Will, for working out and calling the Verstappen Championship at the same time. And then, of course, you were at Brands Hatch. Now we're all back together for Thursday. I'm missing practice 1 tomorrow. I'm at a go-karting event as a new go-kart track is being opened in the Escape facility. So I'm going down there to have a little bit of a race of it. But the only times we could book as well is during practice 1. So Megan Birch Ian Burge and yourself, Josh, will be taking us through the first practice session as well. I'll be back for FP2 with Josh, and Synthel will be joining us in FP2 and FP3. And then for qualifying the race, hopefully it's either going to be Nick Homewood or Tom Dillon joining us in the commentary box as Megan Burge and Ian Burge take the weekend off and have to miss at least half the race due to the fact that there's a Doctor Who special on. And I wish I was watching Doctor Who rather than commentating the race, because it's a regeneration. So it's looking fantastic. Anyway, over to the press conference then with Valtteri Bottas, Lance Stroll, Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris and Sergio Perez are waiting over in the press conference with the one and only Tom Clarkson.
A very warm welcome, everybody, to our drivers' press conference ahead of the FIA Formula One United States Grand Prix. Two groups as ever, and as you can see, Group 1. Left to right, we have Valtteri Bottas, Lando Norris, Carlos Sainz, Lance Stroll and Sergio Perez. Left to right, why don't we start with you, Valtteri? Already a winner since you arrived in the US. Just tell us a little bit about what you got up to in Kansas last weekend.
Yeah, different win. Did this gravel bike race. Actually, I did the same race last year in Lawrence, Kansas, which is cool. I enjoyed it. It's good fun, and yeah, my first win on a bike.
First win on a bike, and you're coming to a track where you've won before, from pole position back in 2019. You also scored your first ever Formula One World Championship points here. Just share with us why you go so well here.
It's always hard to know like why if you succeed on certain tracks, but I don't know. It is really on top of my list of the best tracks in the world. The flow the track has, the elevation change, the high-speed corners. It's really something that I enjoy. But also, like on top of that, Austin is such a cool place. You always have a good feeling and vibe here, and great support as well. So it's a great weekend overall.
Let's talk performance now. And first of all, about the upgrades that the team brought to Suzuka 2 weeks ago. I think there are a few more bits here as well. What can we expect from you guys?
We had a new front wing in Suzuka, but obviously with the conditions was pretty tricky to prove how it was. But we think it's a step forward. And also in this race, we have a new floor diffuser, which hopefully will give a bit of a step. So let's wait and see on Friday, but hopefully that puts us closer to the top 10 and actually we can get back to scoring again.
Well, how important is it for you guys to start scoring again? Because there is this slightly horrible stat where if you look at the first 9 races of the season, you scored, I think, 51 points, and you've scored only 1 point in the second 9 races. How do you explain that?
There's obviously many DNFs, but for sure some other teams been able to improve more than us. But I think now with the upgrade we had in Suzuka and what we have here, hopefully that will give us an opportunity to score again. That's something that we really need.
All right, well, best of luck to you. Thank you, Valtteri. Lando, we'll come to you now. Not tempted to arrive on horseback today?
Oh, no, definitely not. I was late on purpose just to miss the ride in, but Daniel had his moment of glory, so it was good to see.
Tell us about just your thoughts on being at COTA again. You've had good results here, 7th in 2019, 8th here last year. What can we expect from you and McLaren this season?
More of the same. I'm hoping for. It's I love Austin. Probably one of my favorite places on the calendar. Enjoyable. I came out already on Monday just to enjoy some time here, get used to the time zone as well. But yeah, good fun. Just a cool atmosphere, you know, with the people, with the places to go and visit. I know a good amount of people around here, so yeah, a lot of activities, a lot of different things, and then the track itself is for me one of the coolest, most fun in a way, and has provided some good racing and some fun races in the past. So we'll see. You know, maybe Suzuka was not one of our best races, but Singapore was there, and we've been on the pace in the other ones, so hopefully we can keep it up this weekend.
And this battle for P4 in the Constructors Championship, it swings one way, then the other. Suzuka was a good race for Alpine. How do you read that one?
It was a good race for them, yeah. Simple as that. They're performing well, they're doing a very good job, and it's as simple as that, honestly. They're very quick, they have been from, you know, since race 1 this year, and we're putting up a good fight. I think we're doing everything we can. I feel like we are doing a very good job. I'm happy with the team, with the job we're doing as a team in terms of strategy and maximizing the car's potential and just doing what I think is best on every weekend. So yeah, I'm happy, and I think we'll continue to do that. We'll continue to fight. It's not going to be easy by any means. They are doing a very good job. Both drivers are driving well. So we'll see this weekend.
Who has the faster car?
I think it's pretty clear, but not us.
Okay. Look, final one from me. You have IndyCar star Alex Palou alongside you in FP1. What sort of showing are you expecting from him?
I mean, it's always tough coming into an FP1, especially in a car he's never driven before. You know, he's done some of the test days in the previous car, but this one is quite a different one on such a cool track as well. So it's not going to be easy. It's not like you have a lot of time, especially with the tires and things. Like, you don't get that many laps of feeling good grip and things. But he's an extremely good driver. I've known Alex, I guess almost since karting. I've known him more personally, probably the last few years. But he's an incredibly good driver, very talented, and he's in the car for a reason. He can give good insight, add some valuable details for us, and yeah, help us out as much as possible. So he'll do a good job.
All right. Thank you, Lando. Best of luck to you. Carlos, if we can come to you now. Can we start by just looking bigger picture? Because this is the first time you've been in the FIA press conference since Max Verstappen clinched his second world title. Can we get your thoughts on the job he's done and how you think he's improved and evolved as a driver since you were teammates at Toro Rosso?
I don't think I need to put any more price to Max for what he's done this year, because I think it's pretty obvious that he's done a very good job, and everyone can see how good he has performed and how well he's executed this season, especially after not an easy start of the season with a couple of DNFs, how they managed to recover and put together a lot of wins, a lot of good moments, you know, through the year, keep it consistent and be strong in the areas where we haven't been able to be that strong. And yeah, congratulations to him, congratulations to Red Bull, because they fully deserve it.
Do you think he's evolved as a driver since you were teammates?
For sure. I think 8 years in Formula One is a lot of years in Formula One, and since day one of Formula One to year 8, you evolve massively. For sure, he's evolved in every single area. There's not one area where you haven't evolved, and the way that he's managed to keep doing step by step, improving everything, you know, because there's nothing that we cannot improve in 8 years, no, and it's fair play to him, and now he's maximizing also having a competitive car, which is something that you need in Formula One in order to win. If not, you're never going to win.
Well, let's bring it on to this weekend and you and Ferrari. You've scored points every time you've raced at COTA, but never been on the podium. How confident are you that you'll have the car underneath you to get on those steps this weekend?
I think we have a competitive car everywhere we go to. This is a fact. I think we're fighting for nearly every pole position. Wins are more tricky because for some reason Red Bull in the race, they managed to do a step that we don't have, or that recently we don't have as much. But we're working on that. We're taking these last 4 races to experiment a bit, to see how we can be a bit more competitive in the race, how we can improve our tire management. We have the next year tires here for Friday, you know, and it's going to be a key part of understanding where we are lacking also on tire management for next year to try and improve.
Just 5 points between you and George Russell in the Drivers' Championship. How much significance do you place on that battle? Does it matter to you where you finish in the championship if you're not first?
5th, 4th doesn't change my life as a racing driver. I only care about obviously winning and having a good season. I know this year hasn't been easy. The setback of Japan also was not ideal. Made me lose even more points now in this fight. And yeah, I mean, if I can finish 4th, I take 4th, but I would rather prefer to win a race before the end of the year, even if it doesn't mean I finish 4th. No, I think for us it's important to try and win, to get the podiums, to get the consistency. Obviously, this would bring P4 to the table, but I'm focusing more on that than on the championship, let's say.
Okay. Golfing challenge for the drivers in the paddock this weekend.
Well, I'm
You enjoying the
P1 so far,
favourite,
but
the favourite tag?
I don't have a lot of confidence. Oh, what happened? We went silent. Everyone expecting me now to say something important, but I'm gonna say that I'm P1, but I don't think it will last very long. I'm putting pressure on Lance and Lando here to beat me, and if they beat me, I will go back and try and beat them again.
All right.
I'm that competitive.
Good luck with that. Good luck on the track as well. Well, Lance, do you fancy your chances? Are you good at golf?
Some days not so good.
270 to beat.
Like all of us, but
Now, look, first up, Lance, I did want to ask you about your start at Suzuka 2 weeks ago. Those opening 200 metres or so were spectacular.
yeah, it was fun. We had a tough day on Saturday, so yeah, I had some work to do on Sunday, and yeah, it was definitely one of my better ones.
Well, look, what about this weekend? I mean, Aston have now scored points in 6 of the last 7 races. How competitive do you think the car will be here?
I think we're definitely making progress. We made a lot of progress throughout the year. You know, pretty much up until Spa, we were, you know, not in a position to score points unless like stuff happened in front of us. And now we're definitely we've been in a position where, like, you know, we have the pace to really mostly every weekend when the track suits our car. So I think we've definitely put ourselves in a much better position. And you know, our last couple of races in Asia, we scored a lot of points, and we you know, jumped a few positions in the constructors, and that's, you know, I think really good thing. And you know, it's also great to see signs of what's to come, you know, in the future. We've done a great job this year at progressing the car, and that's a great thing.
Talking of the points haul, you're now just 7 points behind Alfa Romeo, who are P6 in the Constructors Championship. Do you think they're gettable?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's all about how we, you know, do in the next races, how they do as well, you know, and how the car goes, you know, here until Abu Dhabi.
All right, best of luck to you as well. Checo, thank you for waiting. So, third last year with no water bottle. How do you fancy your chances this year?
Yeah, I hope I have some water, especially it can be really hot on Sundays, so it will be nice to have some water there. And yeah, it will be nice to get a strong result in this weekend.
How important is momentum for you? Because you've now finished first and second in the last 2 races. Does that give you greater confidence coming into this weekend?
It certainly helps when you have a good run of races. The confidence, the momentum is with you, but that doesn't mean anything. You have to go out there and prove again and again, you know, and hopefully this weekend can be a good one. We can have a strong pace, and yeah, it will be nice to get a strong result before home race.
Well, and you can win the Constructors' Championship as a team this weekend. Should that happen, how proud would you feel?
It will be very, very nice. You know, it's a massive effort that everyone has done, not only on track, back in Milton Keynes, everyone has been pushing so hard. Yeah, I mean, it's been a tremendous year for Red Bull, and I really hope we are able to finish it on a high, because it's been tremendous the year we've been able to have. And yeah, I think throughout the season, you know, making the right calls, pushing at the right times has paid off, and I really hope that we are able to clinch that title soon.
Which has been your best race this year?
I think, I don't know which is the best, but the most special certainly has been winning Monaco. That was very special.
All right. Well, look, best of luck to you this weekend. Let's open this to the floor now. As ever, please remember to give your name and publication. First question, please.
Well, we're just waiting to see what's going
Alex
first.
Cannell, Autosport. A question to Lance, please. Lance, you just said what a good job the team's done at progressing the car through development this year. I just wondered, could you explain how that's felt behind the wheel? How is it feeling driving now compared to the start of the year? Thank you.
Yeah, I think we've just improved the balance a lot. We've put some more load on the car, which always helps. So I think a combination of those two things has just helped us be more competitive.
Well, that, of course, then is more crucial as to what happened earlier on in the broadcast. Josh is back with me now as well. And that was one question from Autosport as well in the press conference. That was between Lance Stroll. Now, hopefully soon we're going to be hearing from Zhou Guanyu or Charles Leclerc, Daniel Ricciardo, George Russell, and certainly I would assume that Ted Kravitz has got Max Verstappen in the media pen. As Croft in out, we'll keep talking. We'll start on our side, Josh, and we'll start with the Red Bull cost cap drama that we've been seeing a lot across this weekend, because we left Japan knowing that there was going to be something on Monday, and then on Monday we found out that Red Bull had breached the cost cap. It was a minor breach, but now we've had Zach Brown writing letters to Mohammed bin Sulayem and Stefano Domenicali and the head of the FIA as well, in order to say, look, we need them either to have a reduction of cost cap next year or a more severe penalty. Williams, a previous team who breached the finances, lost $25,000 US. People even calling for points to be taken off last year because it was last year's car. What do you think, Josh, is going to be the result of all this? Now we know Red Bull have breached it. Is last year's result at risk, or is it mainly now a fine and going forward, which is the way the FIA are going to look at it?
Is last year's result at risk? No. I don't think so, because it was only a minor breach. But then minor breach also says deduction of championship points. But in minor, I think it says constructors, and in major it says drivers, champions, and or constructors.
Well, let's hear what Max Verstappen has to say then. He was talking with Ted Kravitz. Our new world champion is in the media pen now as well with Ted.
Campione.
That's Italian?
Well, it is. Champion again. This is a new experience for you, Max. Coming to another race as world champion in the same year. Haven't had that before. How does it feel?
It's new. Yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, of course, nothing really changes. But it has been, of course, a great year for us, and just nice and relaxed at the moment.
Well done. You've been driving brilliantly all year.
You have been a bit too much in the pub.
No. Well, were you in? Did you have allow yourself a bit of celebration on Sunday night?
No, not so much on Sunday night, because I flew immediately back home to Europe. But then towards the weekend after, just invited some good friends of mine for like a dinner / a few drinks. And it was good. You have to do it. I mean, you have to appreciate of how the season has been going so far.
Yeah, but as I say, you've driven brilliantly. The car's been there for you. The team has been on point, delivering every Sunday. Is it a different feeling the way you won it this year from last year?
Yeah, for sure. It's been completely different circumstances. Of course, it already starts with just the cars being completely different. But also the year we've had, I think we learned again a lot from last year. We have a really good group of people, and I think also this year probably the car was even more competitive than last year.
Even though at the end of the race, Jonathan Wheatley and your engineer weren't even sure whether you've won it.
Yeah.
Can you not win a championship in a kind of normal way that everyone's sure that it's actually happened?
I think it was just a bit unlucky.
Wait for anything.
It was just unlucky with the weather, to be honest, and then not knowing what the exact rule was, because of course the rule book is this big.
Yeah.
But anyway, when I crossed the line, it didn't matter in terms of what points I would have had. I would have not won the championship. It was just because of that penalty then.
Charles's
penalty. that I won it. So for me, it never really felt weird, or just because I knew that once I crossed the line, I was not a champion, which I was like, that's fine. I just had a great race anyway.
Yeah.
Even though I do think they flagged me one lap too early, because when I crossed the line, there was still like 2 or 3 seconds on the clock. And suddenly when I was on the end of the straight, I could see like checkered flag, but I was like, I didn't see a flag. So yeah, everything was just a bit, messy, I guess, and a bit confusing. But at the end also that, when I look back at it, it's quite funny.
Okay, and last thing for me, the team can wrap up the Constructors Championship this weekend. Any worries about this budget cap thing in the team?
No, I mean, from what I heard within the team, I think we really understand where we are at from our side. But at the end of the day, of course, it's something between the team and the FIA they have to sort out. So I'm just focused on the driving part.
Okay, great stuff. Thanks very much.
Well, we really hope that Ted Kravitz gets his voice back soon. It sounds like he's not doing well. I think Delboy's interrupted Josh there on the commentary. That is Delboy, isn't it?
Yes.
Getting back to the point then as well, Max is world champion. He can never seem to win it in a normal way. It always either have to be after the race or in a controversial way during the race. Either way, he is the world champion. And now we're going to have a look. Coming into this one, cost cap then looks like it's going to be dealt with a penalty future, as we said. Now let's look at the Constructors Championship. They've got to outscore Ferrari by 19 points, and they are world champions in the Constructors Championship as well. Their first one since 2013. Do you think it's a possibility that it's going to happen now at America, or will it happen at Mexico? I mean, Ferrari aren't exactly the most reliable team this season, are they? They keep making mistakes again and again and again.
Well, if Charles Leclerc lives up to his Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz, let's say, live up to their favourite thing to do this season, driver errors, then yes, it is a possibility. A first and a second in both DNFs would do it regardless of fastest lap. And let's have a look at the Constructors Championship now. Red Bull 619, Ferrari 454, Mercedes 387, and the Alpine and McLaren battle. Alpine 143 and 130 for McLaren. Only 13 separate fourth and fifth.
Yeah.
And then there's an ongoing battle further behind. I think there's two teams. I think it's Aston Martin and someone who are on the same points.
Haas and AlphaTauri are still on 34, I think. And I think Alpha and Aston are quite close together. Let's go over to Max. He's also talking with Sky Italy. Oh, with Daniel Ricciardo, I believe.
Luckily,
it's a bit late, but congrats.
Thanks. Are you okay?
You can't grow a beard yet.
It's a goatee.
Two-time world champion and can't even grow a beard.
Blame my mom.
Ah, that's nice. That's Daniel Ricciardo in the media pen, congratulating.
Why does Daniel Ricciardo not interrupt media every single week? Daniel Ricciardo's just lurking.
Yeah, no pinks this weekend either to give him a jab. He was just talking to Sky Sport Germany there, I believe, anyway, when he came up and did that as well. Coming through. Also in the pen, as you would have seen, was Ricciardo, Russell, Leclerc and Zhou. Megan will bring you all those tomorrow morning as well in the first practice. I'm going to give her an MP3 of all of them to play throughout the session as well. As she's actually looking forward to take over. It's the first time she's been leading in this commentary box for a couple of years, actually, because usually it's in a different box. But it's now, I believe, going to be on after the break. Okay, so we've got around about 4 more minutes to coming through as well. Press conference is coming up after the break. So the press conference part 2 is on at 35 minutes past the hour. So as things stand, I do want to go to Twitter. Because
especially with after what's happened today.
Well, yeah, I know with the Liberal Democrat, not the Liberal, with the Conservative Party losing Liz Truss 45 days after becoming Prime Minister. But comically enough, my top search at the moment is actually Liz Truss because I was Googling if she would leave earlier on today. But I want to have a word with Martin Brundle as well. But first of all, we've got a couple of things coming through here as well. Ted Kravitz as well, I think, has got the full details as well on what would be either a major breach or a minor breach as well. He was talking to Craig Slater earlier on as well. So this is what Ted had to say.
Not very tense, I must say. Everyone's just come here, and really the overriding feeling coming here has been that somewhat of a celebration. Max Verstappen is around the paddock. He seems very happy with himself. He doesn't seem to be a driver able to win a championship in a normal way. Even at the last race in Japan, he was kind of celebrating, not really knowing whether he had won the championship or not. But comes here in the security knowing that he is a world champion for a second time. And Red Bull coming here knowing that they can wrap up the Constructors Championship by winning hosting the US Grand Prix here on Sunday. Now, there is a feeling amongst the teams, if you start delving into it, Craig, if you start asking questions, there's a lot of unease from the other teams. I think it's fair to say that Red Bull aren't the most popular team in the paddock at the moment because, well, it's the equivalent of F1's financial fair play regulations, and a lot of the other teams, as you were referencing to Zach Brown, feel that Red Bull haven't been playing fair under the rules that they've been playing by, and that's certainly backed up by the discussions that Red Bull are now having to have with the sports governing body, the FIA, as to whether they were in excess of the amount of money they could spend or whether they weren't. So it's going to rumble on for quite a while. Red Bull say that there are going to be some ways of accounting for their figures that would prove that they were within the cost cap rules. Other teams say that's ridiculous. You've had a lot of time to discuss these things and iron out any areas of interpretation or misinterpretation. So I think it's going to rumble on for quite a while yet. But yeah, if you delve into it, Craig, there is a lot of unease amongst the other teams towards Red Bull.
And just after that as well, Craig did ask what possible outcome we could see from the cost cap.
What if Red Bull try some kind of plea bargain here, or at least accept this agreed breach arrangement, which would mean they'd take a penalty from the FIA? What kind of penalty do you think they'd be willing to accept, which would mean they wouldn't contest the breach?
Well, that's a very difficult thing, and that's the line that the FIA are going to have to tread very carefully, because the other teams will demand that if there is a penalty to be meted out, that it is both sufficiently harsh in the sporting way and in a financial way and in a way that has an effect on Red Bull going into next season. Because even though we're talking about the budget cap for last season, what all the other teams are saying is that this has an effect, a beneficial effect for Red Bull going into 2022 this year, and indeed going into 2023. So I think a lot of teams are thinking, well, if you can exclude them from this year's Constructors Championship, which they're just about to win, take away all of their money. Red Bull are well financed from all their sponsors anyway, so it's not going to be too much of a problem if they lose 150 million in prize money from Formula One, and have the effect of putting them at the back of the pit lane order for next year. That'll be enough of a kind of public sanction, if they have been proved to have broken the rules, to make it a deterrence for anybody else doing something of the similar in future.
Okay.
Well, that was further back then as well with what was going on, and Ted seems to say that it looks to be, Josh, that it's simply going to be something of a slap on the wrist publicly. I doubt they're going to lose this year's Constructors. I doubt they'll lose anything next year. Possibly they'll be fined and a cost cap, but it's because they won the Drivers' Championship, isn't it? That's why everyone's kicking up a fuss, both last year and now this year, and they're going to win the Constructors. Everyone's just kicking up a big fuss, and they need to, otherwise it's not fair.
Yeah. It could be a cost cap reduction for next year. That's also another penalty which could be applied, or it could be a couple of constructor points from last year. It could be I don't think it would be any points from this year, because it happened last year, not this year. So why penalise this year for something that they didn't do in this year? Or it could just be a fine, which Williams got 25,000 USD fine, but then that depends on how much they've overspent by.
Indeed, and we rumoured it was 5%. It's just on the 5%, which would equate to 5 million as well. So they've got to be careful with that as well. Deborah is also saying, how do you guys like the Austin track? Well, I actually raced the Austin track this morning on the F1 22 game because it's free this weekend. And I've got it on PC, but I own a PlayStation. So I've got it on the PlayStation to do a couple of laps. And I'm trying to work out the entire next year's content on the game in 4 days. So that's going to be fun. But I love it. I love it as well on the new car as well. I don't know if you've done any driving on it yet, Joshua, but this track's fantastic. And last year was a brilliant race.
I've done racing on Real Racing 3, but I've not done F1 2022.
If you have a PlayStation or your gaming laptop, download it for free for 5 days and have a crack at it. It's great as well. It's free on Steam, it is free on Xbox, and it is free on PlayStation 4 and 5 as well until the 24th of October, and for PlayStation it'll be the 25th on the morning. That's this weekend for Danny Ricciardo, who was sort of giving it a freebie. It's the whole game as well you can have for free, which is why I'm getting so much content out of it. Anyway, it's time to go over then. Getting ready for the second part of the press conference, and in this we will hear from Esteban Ocon as well, Pierre Gasly, his teammate for 2023 of course, Kevin Magnussen, the most experienced driver at Haas now as well, overtaking Romain Grosjean, and also the most experienced driver at Haas for the American Grand Prix, and Lewis Hamilton will also be there, Sir Lewis Hamilton of course, although the official media briefing is only putting him down as Lewis Hamilton, not Sir Lewis Hamilton. He will be in the press conference at his favourite circuit. He's the winner around here most any other circuit. What was that stat you gave me the other day, Josh, about Lewis Hamilton at this track?
Yeah, and it's quite a good fact as well. Lewis Hamilton has raced every lap of every race of every year at COTA.
And let's go over to
No
George Russell,
DNFs.
his teammate, who's had a chat with Ted.
Here, what kind of track is it? I know they've tried to mimic corners from great tracks around the world. Is it all of that fun around here? Is it a bit of a roller coaster ride?
It's a bit of a bumpy ride. It used to be a bit of a bumpy ride, for sure, and as you said, a bit of a roller coaster. On the face of it, it is a pretty spectacular circuit. Obviously, the undulations and then the Silverstone-esque complex. Last year, it wasn't the most pleasant because it was just so bumpy and we were bouncing all over the place. This year they've resurfaced it, so maybe that will make it a bit faster and nicer to drive. But it's just such a great weekend, all in all. I think this is probably one of the best races of the season from a fan perspective. If you come to Austin and experience the whole American vibe, it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And the other thing, just finally, I wanted to ask you about was Jamie Chadwick, a friend of yours, another great young British racing driver, and despite the fact W Series aren't finishing their season, it does mean that there was no question about her wrapping up her third W Series crown. She's dominated the year. Just a thought on her year and her achievement this year.
She dominated the last 3 years.
3 years.
I think.
True.
Yeah, regardless of his extra last 2 seasons, she would have gone on to win the championship. So, no, really happy for her. She's proven how capable she is, and it would be great to sort of see her get an opportunity in an F1 car at some point. I think she's done a lot of work with Williams, and they need to get her on the track sometime. So let's see if they can make that happen and give her that opportunity.
Aaron can give a test to Mario Andretti at the age of 80 or something. Then I'm sure Williams can do it
Absolutely.
for Jamie. Great, thanks,
Brilliant.
George.
Cheers.
I like how George Russell also saying there as well about the connection to Williams. And yeah, well done to Jamie Chadwick, of course. We talked about this on the Grid Network show, W Series, between the gap between Japan here. They should have been racing this weekend for the United States Grand Prix, but W Series sadly has folded for 2022 as they try and get the cash together to race in 2023. So Jamie Chadwick is the 2022 W Series champion. There'll be a special show about the W Series as well coming on Saturday before practice 3 as well. Myself and Megan will be filming a little bit of a wrap-up show there for this weekend to round out the season as well. If it's not here, it'll be in Mexico next weekend when Megan rejoins the team fully. Now, just quickly, just before the press conference starts again, that stat about Lewis Hamilton, he's never DNF'd at this circuit, and he's completed every single lap here. Is that likely to continue this season when he has been lapped before this year, and this is a very high-speed circuit?
It really is, and it is a possibility that he could be able to complete it. It is a possibility that he couldn't complete it. We'll have to see on Sunday. W Series might need to sell some Krabby Patties and get those monies.
Absolutely, get the cash through as well. And Toby Gruers, the AMS reporter, just said, asked Sebastian Vettel whether he would consider coming back from retirement next year if a team is in need of a reserve driver for one race. Seb's answer, only if it's Suzuka. And he got points last time out as well. I think we all agree with that one as well. Okay, time then to get ready for the press conference with Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly, Kevin Magnussen, Lewis Hamilton and Alexander Albon coming through. But I think first of all, we're going to hear from Danny Ricciardo with Ted.
Hello. How are you?
Favorite race of the year?
Hell yeah.
Wait,
I haven't done much Texan accent, so...
Here we go again.
You've been in...
I might have to.
You've been in where? What have you been doing? LA the last week?
LA.
Seeing friends?
Yeah, LA, just chilling, cruising.
Good.
You can fly direct from Tokyo to LA. It's like 9.5 hours, so...
Well, we almost
got me on the time zone.
passed it on the way back to London because we did Alaska, Northern Canada. We thought, why don't we just shortcut and go straight to LA? Yeah.
You should have. You've been the same place I have, because we both got croaky voice today.
Well, I've got a little horse, which leads me nicely on to your little horse.
Yep.
Get you and the horse you rode in on.
Beauty, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a nice idea. Who was strumming the strings with you?
So that was my buddy Rob Baird.
Okay.
And I say he's my buddy. I mean, he's a musician. He's not just a friend that can play. He's a professional musician. But we became friends, and we've actually became really close friends, and I love his music. So when we got the idea of coming in on the horse, I was like, Rob, I think you would complete this. Just walk and play, and it'll bring a little bit of extra atmosphere into the paddock.
Yeah.
As we know, Thursdays are kind of quiet. So it was cool, really nice to do it. I mean, I was a little embarrassed at first, but I was like, you know what, just have some fun with it.
Good. No, you got to do it. I assume you didn't go the whole way from Austin. The horse cake got a lift here as well.
A few people asked me, like, did you ride from town? So no, we got on her in the car park.
Good. Okay,
but yeah, he lives. It's a boy, Blue.
Yeah.
Lives on a ranch about an hour away.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or Horsey McHorseface.
Yeah. So Horsey McHorse, that's his nickname. We didn't know Blue's name at the time of getting the pass, the credentials, but I found out that the real name's Blue, but I feel Horsey McHorse might be where it stays.
Perfect. Well, listen, have a great weekend. Thanks a lot.
Thank y'all.
Cheers.
Oh, only Danny Ricciardo could ride in as well. A horse with no name. He just loves saying it, doesn't he? Been through the desert on a horse with no name, and Danny Ricciardo, much like everybody now, doesn't know where he's going to be racing in 2023. Rumour is he's going to be the Mercedes reserve driver before taking over from Lewis Hamilton for 2024. Every time I hear that, I just don't believe it, because I don't see Lewis leaving until he's a race winner again or an 8-time champion. Is it more likely we'll see Danny Rick at Haas next year replacing Mick Schumacher?
Well, anything's possible in Formula One silly season, to be honest. We've seen it before, and we'll definitely see it again.
What about Logan Sargent? Is he going to go... Oh, you're back. Logan Sargent, is he going to be at Williams next year, taking over with Alexander Albon? Because we know De Vries is not going there, and Latifi's out of it.
I think so. I think Logan Sargent will go to Williams, and I don't think I'm the only person who's saying...
Oh, don't worry, I'm saying it with you. I agree. Yeah, and Will Buxton's actually just tweeted quite timely. I swear he watches us. Latifi says nothing signed for 2023, despite rumours. Refuses to be drawn on whether he is in discussions with Ganassi. And also, watch out as we hear from Pierre Gasly in this press conference. Hopefully, Tom Clarkson and a few journalists ask Pierre his thoughts directly on what happened at Suzuka with the recovery vehicle on the track. Many people have been saying that it should have been an instant red flag as well, ourselves included. So we'll look forward to hearing that in the press conference. We'll talk more about Pierre after. But yeah, Latifi to Ganassi for next season in IndyCar looks like it could be a possibility as well.
He's wrecked havoc.
Yeah. 500 is going to be fun. I know.
Oval racing and Latifi? No.
Must say then. Thanks, Josh. Let's go on then. Esteban Ocon, Pierre Gasly, Kevin Magnussen, Lewis Hamilton and Alexander Albon are waiting in the press conference now with Tom Clarkson.
A very warm welcome back to our drivers' press conference here at the Circuit of the Americas. It's now time for Group 2, and as you can see from left to right, we have Lewis Hamilton, Kevin Magnussen, Alex Albon, Esteban Ocon and Pierre Gasly. A very warm welcome to you all. Why don't we go left to right this time? So Lewis, we'll start with you now.
You're left.
You've made various pit stops en route to Austin, including a Broncos NFL game. Just how much fun have you been having?
I don't know what the various stops are. I've had, Tokyo and in LA, and I got to see the Broncos, got to see my team performing. That experience was incredible. to just be in that huge arena. Firstly, the stadium is amazing, but just to see a different group of fans, but all with the similarities of the fans that we have here, just passionate about their team, right on the edge of their seat for every single play, and then for me, just like speaking to the coach, speaking to the players, and you know, speaking to the rest of the owners about the takeover, about the things that the challenges that we have, the things that we need to improve on. Like our offense is our defense is really strong, but our offense is quite weak at the moment. We've got Russell that's new to the team, and he needs more protection. He's still getting to know a lot of the players around him, and so I like getting in super deep into all of that kind of stuff, and also into just athlete performance, because these guys are huge. Some of the guys are over 300 pounds. They're massive. Wouldn't want those guys to hit you. And then just looking into, you know, how I can have how I can play a role with that team in terms of supporting them, and also the things that we're going to do with DNI within the community in Denver. And yeah, it's exciting.
You're going to enjoy your association with that team. I can see that.
So much. And you know, and Rob and Greg, you know, they're really very, and Carrie and Melody, they're all so kind and have achieved so much in their careers. So it's quite amazing to be able to speak to them and learn from those people as well.
Let's bring it on to this weekend. You are a 6-time winner of the United States Grand Prix, 5 times here at the Circuit of the Americas. There's clearly something about this race that brings out the best in you. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Well, I think just being in the States, I'm very happy when I'm out here. I think already when I came to Indianapolis, was it 2007, was a good time. But I think this track is very special, considering it's a newer circuit. It's one of the best circuits that we have. Provides great racing. A single lap is exciting, but and then we get this crowd that just keeps growing year on year. And they just do it differently here, right? They're I would say that us Europeans are good with we're good at sports, but there's things that we've learned, I would say, with the partnership with Liberty, and I think I think the sport is growing as a whole in terms of how we put on the show.
And what about performance? You've got some upgrades on the car this weekend. What can we expect from you and Mercedes?
You can expect we're going to try everything, as we always do. I don't want to get my hopes up with a lot of work has naturally gone into the upgrade, as it always does. And I'm really, really proud of everybody for the work that's gone in. But in the past, we've had expectations, this is going to bring a 10th or whatever it may be, and then we struggle to extract that. So I'm just with a really open mind. I'm hoping our car just in general works better at this circuit, and I'm generally just excited. I did drive here just after Montreal in the old car, which was amazing. And they've flattened off some of the section, like turn 5, 4 and 5, I think it is. And so I'm hoping that's going to be better for our car.
Best of luck to you this weekend. Thank you, Lewis. Kevin, coming to you now. You haven't raced here since 2019. What bit of this racetrack are you most looking forward to driving?
I'll just grab this. Yeah, I mean, I agree with Lewis that I think of new tracks, this is one of the best. I tend to like the old tracks more than the new, but it is actually, a very cool track. Especially Sector 1 is very fast, and with these S's, although there's a lot of runoff, which kind of makes it a little less exhilarating. It's just such an awesome, place to drive a Formula 1 car. I think turn 5 is where we pull the most lateral G of any corner of the year, I think. It just, it's very bumpy usually. Lewis says it's less now, so with these cars I expect it to be quite bumpy. But yeah, great to be back, and looking forward to it.
What about car performance for you guys at Haas?
Well, I think, we generally are more happy with high downforce tracks. This is a high downforce track, so hopefully we can be a bit more competitive. I think lately some of the other teams have kind of moved ahead of us in terms of outright performance, but that doesn't mean we can't fight them and, you know, have a chance against them.
Well, it's a very tight battle with AlphaTauri for P8 in the Constructors Championship for you guys. Do you see it going down to the wire?
Yeah, I think so. It's very tight in terms of points to these guys. Even, you know, the next position up, P7 is, if you just look at the points, it's not so much, but it's so hard for us to score points at the moment, so it is going to be tough. But yeah, we're going to do our best, of course.
A lot of speculation about your teammate for next season. Has the team consulted you about who you want alongside you? And can we also get your thoughts on Mick Schumacher and the job he's done this year, and where have you seen him improve?
Well, first of all, I haven't had any, you know, influence on what's been going on with drivers, and you know, that's totally out of my hands. You know, if I just look at Mick, you know, I think he's been really improving over the year. He started off maybe, you know, not really liking the car and lacking a bit of confidence, but he's really gained that. And you know, lately he's been super hard to beat for me. And I think, you know, the way he's driving right now, he definitely deserves a place in the grid. But again, you know, totally out of my hands, and I can only sort of just wish him well.
All right. Best of luck to you this weekend. Thank you, Kevin. Alex, coming to you now. You've gone blonde again. No, I think try your...
Hello.
Yeah.
First time. Did you say blondes have more fun? I don't know. Is that the thing? That's what the blondes tell me anyway. Thank you. Blonde everywhere. Yeah. Oh!
And the entire conference room erupts.
Can't you see the sides of blonde? Everything's blonde. Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Alex, let's talk about Kota. You finished 5th here in your one and only race. What can we expect from you and Williams this weekend?
Yeah, it's a. I think going into this circuit, it's maybe less complimentary of our car. But let's wait and see. Obviously, I think it's going to be quite windy as well, which again is maybe not too favourable. But I don't want to sound too negative. I think, you know, we can do a good job if the car's strong in FP1. I'm sure we can try and keep that. And yeah, let's see.
Well, tell us a little bit more about FP1, because Logan Sargent is going to be driving the car alongside you. What can we expect from him? What can you tell us?
Not too sure, to be honest. I think he's obviously been hard at work at the factory, getting ready for tomorrow. Yeah, I think he's there quite a lot actually. He's probably there more than I am. So he's hard at work. I'm sure he will enjoy it. It's a cool track to come on. And obviously, it will be a home race for him. So it's always nice to drive an F1 car, and I'm sure it will be special for him. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, Alex. Best of luck to you this weekend. Esteban? Now, before flying here, you attended the Ballon d'Or ceremony in Paris. Tell us about it. It struck me you were a very brave man doing all those donuts and things with the Ballon d'Or just sat above your head.
Yeah, I was a little bit afraid they would fall on my head because it's very heavy. You know, it's about 7 kilos, I think. So yeah, I mean the guys at the team, they done a good job to hold it in place. But yeah, I mean what an emotion to just be driving a Formula One car in the streets of Paris, and you know, to deliver it inside the theater, and then, you know, it got won by Karim Benzema, you know, who's obviously a French player, made history again. So yeah, it's been awesome. It's been an awesome experience for me.
Now, before we bring it on to this weekend, I did just want to ask you about your drive in Japan, keeping Lewis at bay for so many laps. Would you say that was one of your best races in Formula One?
I think it's been a good race for sure. I mean, we had fun with Lewis the whole race. I had a lot of fun, you know, fighting with him. And yeah, I mean, great to obviously bring some great points for the team. Taking that 4th place back in the championship is very important for us, and it really showed, you know, that we stepped up, you know, as a team with the performance upgrades that we've bring. We have one more this weekend upgrade, so yeah, I mean, it's really going in the right direction at the moment, and hopefully we can keep that momentum going.
Well, the car was very quick at Suzuka. Do you think it'll suit the fast sweeps of Kota as well?
No reason why it shouldn't. We just obviously need to be careful because last year it hasn't been a good weekend for us. So that's the little thing that we are keeping in our head. We've done a lot of analysis from last year, looking at everything. Obviously that didn't go as planned, but yeah, clearly we have a much faster car now, and hopefully it will be a strong weekend again.
All right. Best of luck to
Thank
you.
you.
And Pierre, thank you for waiting. You were at the Ballon d'Or ceremony as well. Your first engagement as an Alpine driver, is that what we call it?
Yeah, I guess, yeah, we could call it like that, yeah.
Tell us about it. How much do you enjoy it?
Well, I'm a big football fan, so it was obviously very special to attend the whole ceremony. Even more special night, as Esteban mentioned, Karim Benzema, French player, won the Ballon d'Or after 24 years, I think, since Zidane won it. So no, it was very special. Pretty much all my favorite football players were attending as well, so a very special night. Yeah.
And what about being back in the US? How excited are you? Because it seems you've spent an increasing amount of time in the US over the last few years.
Yeah, I must say it's a place which I really like. I think it's mainly their mentality, their lifestyle, the entertainment, just the way they are. They're extremely friendly people. They know how to make you feel like kind of at ease. And I must say, I love the accent. I don't have that talent. Not like Daniel. But every time I'm here, I don't know. Yeah. What?
Squirrel?
Not just the American accent, especially the Texan accent. I think I need to learn that from him. But it's a very unique place, and no, I've really enjoyed it. So I must say, did he come with a horse this morning? I thought that was photoshopped initially when I saw that. I've never seen horse inside a F1 paddock, but no, that's the sort of thing that happens in America, and I must say I really enjoy it. Yeah.
Look, just final one from me. 3 points finishes in the last 5 races. How confident are you in the AlphaTauri package now?
Well, we know it's a tight battle. We know it hasn't been easy for us this season to score points, and yeah, it's very tight with us. Aston has been extremely fast recently and scoring a lot of points. So I think our mentality is more to go like race by race and just try to give everything we have every single weekend, and then we'll see the points at the end of the year. But yeah, we know Austin is kind of a high-speed track, high downforce, which doesn't suit our car so well, but everything can happen. So we'll try our best and hopefully can score points or more. Yeah.
All right. Best of luck to you. Thank you for that. Let's open this to the floor. As ever, name and publication, please.
Alex Karnaukas, Autosport. A question to Lewis, please. Lewis, Mercedes is the only team to have beaten Red Bull in the last decade, like since the start of 2010. Obviously, that's 12 years now. Do you think that if you're back in the title fight in the future, Mercedes is the team most likely to beat Red Bull? I mean, I'm sure you want to talk up your own squad naturally, but what is it that makes Mercedes so strong compared to, say, Ferrari, which has shown some weaknesses on many fronts this year? Thanks.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, unlike at the beginning of the year where I said we don't make any mistakes, we're human, and nearly clearly we do. I think, I think Ferrari also will have people that have been there for over 20 years, and we really do have naturally, I think, a lot of strength in depth. I think it's leadership. We've got a great leader. We've got amazing support from the Diamond Board, who are all like racing, passionate racers. And then, then I think it's the core group of people. Just there's great communication throughout the organization. Toto is very focused as a leader to really elevate people. I don't know any other leader that I've worked with, at least, that goes and says, hey, how are things at home? How can I help support you better so you have more time with your wife or with your husband or with your partner, with your kids, so that you come to work and be happier and want to commit more. Like that's who Toto is. So So I think it's that, and there's just, because of that, there's a real general hunger within the team. So yeah, a combination of those, and I'd like to think that we're going to be the ones that are competing with them and being able to beat them again. I do believe that for sure. But I think I really hope that Ferrari are strong in the following years. They've definitely had a difficult year, but there's been some strong signs, obviously, that you've seen this year, which has been nice to see. And it's been nice to see Ferrari doing well again. So I hope that it's more than a two-way battle next year. I hope there's at least 3 of us. If not, I mean, surprisingly, maybe more. Like, why can't McLaren be there? We'll see. Or even Alpine's been doing amazing, so we'll see.
That just makes it more interesting, doesn't it, Josh, as well? I'm thinking about that, because what Lewis Hamilton has literally just said is that it's the leadership that's the problem at Ferrari. That was interesting. And another thing is that at the start of the year, we all said it as well, he said it in pre-season testing, is the fact that Mercedes don't make mistakes. My team don't make mistakes. He's now saying 19 races later... Yeah.
Very funny.
Yeah, 19 races later, he's now saying that the team make mistakes because we're all human. So, again, finally, they did make a mistake this year. I mean, is that Lewis Hamilton having a reality check? Because I think that was. And that was quite weird from him. That seemed an honest and downbeat answer.
It really is, and it's Lewis Hamilton being Lewis Hamilton. I think at the start of the season, he's really, really confident and saying, like, we make no mistakes, we are going to win the championship, we're going to have a really good car. But then in reality, later on in the season, like we just saw there and heard, that he's saying, we made mistakes, we're all human, etc., etc.
Really strange. And also no questions at the moment to Pierre Gasly about his incident. What was your take on the digger on the track at Japan? Because we're waiting on an FIA report that's due to drop tomorrow morning as well. So Megan will talk to you more about it in practice 1. It should have been a red flag, but you were in and out of Japan. What was your take on it?
Well, I was in location.
Yes, you were. You were at Brands Hatch. Yeah, God.
Yeah, and I was dropping in and out. I saw replays of it. I saw another angle of it. But camera person wasn't expecting it and was aiming at Carlos Sainz.
Yeah.
Not at the track. I think you saw that as well.
I said, yep, same one, yep.
Yeah, and... but then you have other cars going nearly the same speed, just a little bit slower. So it's very questionable. And then I saw a tweet where there was a second tractor retrieving Albon,
yeah.
I think it was. So, again, the FIA messing up. And it's another thing of going into politics again. Would we rather have Boris Johnson back or than what we currently have? And it's a case of, would we rather have Michael Massey back than what we currently have?
To be fair, I prefer someone who could do the job, but unfortunately, there's no Keir Starmer to this.
Sebastian Vettel.
Yeah, Vettel probably. Yeah.
Vettel.
Although a bit like what some people are saying about resurrect Margaret Thatcher, resurrect Charlie Whiting, and put him back in control. Nothing ever went wrong with Charlie, but unfortunately, Charlie passed away, and we had to deal with that with Michael Massey's tyrantral reign over Formula 1 as a race director, and now Niels Rittig and Eduardo Freitas. Eduardo Freitas was under control at Japan as well. And
Michael Massey brought the rain, Niels and Eduardo brought the thunder.
Yeah. And that's why
the hail.
Just needs to get worse. And we are awaiting regulation changes as well for next season, and more from this year. We'll have hopefully knowledge of that tomorrow morning when the FIA release their investigation as well. We are hearing.
We just have.
Well, I'll just quickly add. What I was hearing that the initial gatherings from that investigation are that if there does need to be a recovery vehicle on the circuit itself in wet conditions, then it will be red flag from now on, and that's the same in normal race conditions as well. If it's in a dangerous place where the marshals can't safely extract it even behind the safety car, the red flag will be called immediately instead of the safety car. So we'll have to look out for that more on the graphics this year as next year too.
Yeah.
Continue on.
Yeah, we also saw, well, we see that in World Endurance Championship, not with the red flag because it's an endurance championship, but British touring cars, we see it all in the Toke Sport Series. We see it in loads of car championships, and F1 keeps lagging behind. But could we just see one season where there is no FIA regulation changes and everything just goes perfectly?
Hopefully in 2023. I really do hope so. Because next year already looks quite good with the calendar the way it is. 24 races, bit too much, yeah, but China will probably drop off as well, and let's see how long Qatar will stay after what's been happening as well.
30 races.
6 sprints,
How many practice sessions, how many qualifying sessions, and with all of the sprint races for MotoGP.
Yeah,
my whole life is going to be documents.
Well, that's you in the pit lane. My entire life is going to be lived in this commentary box, and I'll lose Megan next year as well in the second half of the season, so going to have to get ready for that. Okay, right, we're about out of time here as well. Let's give you the coverage details for the remainder of the weekend. Free Practice 1 gets underway tomorrow. These are all British summer times as well. Free Practice 1 is underway at 7:45. I won't be there. Megan Birch will be leading the commentary team alongside Josh and Ian Birch as well, if he's with us. If not, then it'll be just Josh and Megan, which will be entertaining, I suppose, somehow.
It will be very entertaining because you've seen in the past latest slots with me and Megan are quite fun.
They are, so that's going to be fun. I think Ian Burge will be here and Megan will be leading the commentary as per normal. So all the big bits, the big talky bits Megan gets to do, and she's looking forward to talking through us with that as well. So yeah, that's Free Practice 1 tomorrow at 7:45. Session starts at 8. Free Practice 2 I will be back for, and it's 90 minutes long. Practice 2, myself, Josh and Synthel will be in the commentary box for that one. Saturday, Practice 3 is at 7:45 again. Qualifying, myself and Josh will be there from 10:40, and it's going to be the Nick Homewood or Tom Dillon. Hopefully, I've asked them both to sort of slip into the commentary box, whoever's free. And then Sunday race, we're on air at 6:45, half-hour pre-show, but it's going to be a little bit different of a race weekend, this one as well, because as soon as the pit lane opens, we are handing over completely to Sky Sports F1 up until 7:52, and the reason for that is because
Ross has other priorities.
Yes, there's a Doctor Who special from 7:30 till 9. I don't get to watch all of it live, so I'm going to miss Martin's Grid Walk, but I'm going to get to watch 20 minutes of the special live and then watch the 70 minutes after. So Sky will take you through the build-up with Martin's Grid Walk and interviews on the grid. You'll barely notice a difference. Josh will have, hopefully, control if something happens and he needs to talk about it. And then also, I'll be here up until 7:27 anyway, so we should be fine. And the cars will be on the grid by the time we'll get there. And then Ed said 8 o'clock as well, lights out for the United States Grand Prix. And the Grand Prix review will be on at 11:30, around about 90 minutes after the end of the race. I think you can guess why. So it gives me 70 minutes to watch the end of the Doctor Who. And then on Sunday morning as well, you can join us. Yeah, on Sunday morning you can join us 7:15 a.m. for the MotoGP Malaysia Grand Prix, and that's underway as well at 8 a.m. race time. So 12 hours difference of races, but loads of things throughout the day. Don't forget, join us for the Grid Live preview show. That's on at Saturday afternoon, 5 p.m. US time as well. And the wrap-up show, I won't be on that. It'll be a bit too late.
11 p.m. No, midnight. Or
Well, it'll be 5 p.m. our time, lunchtime over there for the preview show. And then on Sunday, the wrap-up show, that's 90 minutes after the end of the NASCAR. I won't be on that one, but I will be on the Encore show on Monday. And I will be hosting now permanently alongside Kobe Lambeth as well from the Podium Finish, the Grid Tonight show as well on Wednesdays, wrapping up all the motorsport news stories as well. My thanks to Josh, and I will see you in Practice 2, and I will see everyone else back in Practice 2 as Megan will completely lead the first practice session.
bad idea.
Megan will be alright. It should be fine. It's just if I'm worried about technology. Megan leads then. She's got comfortable hands as well. It's leaving you with her as well. That's the problem. Anyway, we'll be back then tomorrow for practice 1, 7:45. I'll be back for practice 2 at 10:45. Good night to you all.